The last diplomatic mission. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the diplomatic vessel Olive Branch, watching the crystalline spires of New Alexandria glitter beneath Centauri Prime's triple suns. After 15 years of service, she knew this would be her final mission as Earth's representative to the Galactic Confederation. Not because she was retiring, but because after today, everything would change. The ship's AI chimed softly. "Ambassador, the Confederation Council is ready to receive you." Sarah straightened her midnight blue uniform, touching the small pin on her collar, a simple Earth design that concealed humanity's most sophisticated quantum transmitter. "Very well. Begin landing sequence." As the ship descended through the capital's atmospheric shields, Sarah reviewed the classified briefing one final time. The Confederation, an alliance of 27 spacefaring civilizations, had denied Earth full membership for over a century. Their official reason: humanity wasn't technologically advanced enough. The truth, as Earth's intelligence services had discovered, was far more insidious. The landing pad extended from one of the Council's silver towers. Sarah walked down the ship's ramp with practiced diplomatic poise, her gray-streaked black hair pulled back severely. A delegation of Confederation officials waited, led by High Chancellor Zixtal, a towering figure whose crystalline body structure reflected the light in mesmerizing patterns. "Ambassador Chen." Zixtal's translated voice carried artificial warmth. "The Council welcomes Earth's representative, though we must express surprise at this unscheduled appearance." Sarah smiled, a gesture she knew made many alien species uncomfortable with its display of teeth. "High Chancellor, I appreciate the Council making time for this essential matter." The Council chamber was a vast amphitheater, its walls displaying real-time feeds from every member world. Sarah noted the subtle sneers and dismissive gestures from many representatives, the same attitudes humanity had endured for generations. "Esteemed Council," Sarah began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics. "For 117 years, Earth has petitioned for full membership. For 117 years, we have been told we lack the necessary advancement. Today, I'm not here to submit another petition." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Zixtal's crystalline form shifted, catching the light differently. "Then why have you requested this session, Ambassador?" Sarah activated her collar pin. Instantly, holographic displays materialized throughout the chamber. They showed Confederation agents sabotaging Earth's research facilities, stolen technological data, and recorded conversations of Council members discussing ways to keep humanity contained. "We are here to present evidence of systematic sabotage and conspiracy against Earth." Sarah's voice had shed all diplomatic pretense. For decades, the Confederation has actively worked to prevent human advancement while pretending to be our mentors and allies. The chamber erupted in protests and denials. Zixtal's voice cut through the chaos. "These are serious accusations, Ambassador, but they are clearly fabrications. Human technology cannot even detect our covert operations, let alone document them." Sarah's smile returned, sharper now. "That's where you're wrong, Chancellor. We detected your first sabotage attempt 93 years ago. Everything since then has been carefully monitored, documented, and analyzed. Your arrogance made you sloppy. You never considered that we might be letting you think you were succeeding." She gestured, and new holograms appeared. Massive hidden shipyards in the Kuiper Belt, quantum research facilities beneath Europa's ice, antimatter production plants in Mercury's caverns. While you thought you were keeping us down, we were learning from every attempt at sabotage, reverse engineering your technology, and improving upon it. The Council chamber had fallen silent. Sarah could see the dawning realization in their alien expressions. They hadn't been containing a primitive species. They had been training their own replacement. As of this moment, Earth withdraws from all Confederation treaties and agreements. Sarah declared, "We trusted you once. We believed in the idea of galactic unity. Instead, you taught us that trust must be earned. And you have failed that test for over a century. This is unprecedented. Zixtal's crystalline form had darkened with anger. The consequences will be entirely of your own making. Sarah interrupted. Right now, Earth's fleet is emerging from hidden docks across the solar system. Ships you never knew existed, carrying weapons you never imagined we could develop. But we're not here for revenge, Chancellor. We're here to reshape the galaxy into what the Confederation pretended to be. A true coalition of equals. The final hologram showed Earth's fleet. Thousands of ships incorporating technology from dozens of species, all modified and improved by human ingenuity. Ships that had been built in secret, while humanity played the role of primitive supplicants. The choice is yours, Sarah said, turning to leave. Continue your policy of superiority and face the consequences, or join us in building something better. Either way, humanity is done asking for permission to grow. As she walked out of the chamber, Sarah sent a single encoded quantum burst. Operation Dawn is go. Across the galaxy, humanity's hidden strength emerged from the shadows. The age of deception was over. The age of humanity had begun. Hidden victories. Dr. Marcus Rivera stood in the heart of Project Prometheus, humanity's most advanced research facility buried 2 kilometers beneath Europa's ice. Through the reinforced viewport, he watched as the quantum shield generator pulsed with a soft blue light, containing enough energy to power Earth's entire grid for a year. Shield integrity at 120% of theoretical maximum, announced Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. The Confederation said this was impossible, that quantum fields couldn't be stabilized at this scale. Marcus allowed himself a rare smile. The Confederation says a lot of things are impossible. That's what happens when you stop innovating and start hoarding power instead. The facility had been Marcus's home for the past 7 years, ever since intelligence had discovered the Confederation's attempts to sabotage Earth's quantum research. Instead of stopping the project, humanity's leaders had made a bold decision. Let the aliens think they had succeeded while building something far more advanced in secret. Director Chen is addressing the council right now, Yuki said, checking her quantum comm. Soon everyone will know what we've achieved here. Marcus nodded, remembering the day they'd first cracked the quantum shield problem. The Confederation's saboteurs had accidentally provided the key. Their attempts to destabilize human experiments had revealed previously unknown properties of quantum fields. What was meant to hold humanity back had instead pushed them forward. Begin final system check, Marcus commanded. Across the facility, hundreds of scientists and engineers moved with practiced precision. Every person here had been chosen not just for their brilliance, but for their ability to keep secrets. For years, they'd lived double lives, presenting a facade of primitive research on Earth while conducting their real work in hidden facilities across the solar system. The quantum shield wasn't their only breakthrough. In labs throughout the facility, other teams were putting the finishing touches on technology that the Confederation had deemed too advanced for humanity. Antimatter containment fields that were 300% more efficient than alien designs, neural interface systems that made their alien counterparts look primitive, weapons that could pierce any known defense. Dr. Rivera, a young engineer, called out, "The Confederation's annual inspection fleet just passed Jupiter. Their sensors are reading exactly what we want them to see." Marcus walked to the main control center, where a massive holographic display showed the alien ships passing through carefully constructed sensor blind spots. They would see only what humanity wanted them to see: outdated research facilities, failed experiments, and primitive technology. 7 years, Marcus mused. 7 years of hiding our true capabilities, of letting them think their sabotage was working. The hardest part wasn't the science. It was maintaining the deception. The quantum comm crackled to life with a priority message from Earth Command. Marcus read it and turned to address the facility's staff. "Ambassador Chen has delivered our message to the Council. Operation Dawn is now active. Begin power-up sequences for all systems." Throughout the facility, hidden panels slid open, revealing advanced weapon systems. The research station began its transformation into what it truly was, one of humanity's most powerful military installations. Similar transformations were happening across the solar system as humanity shed its mask of weakness. "Sir," Yuki called out, "we're detecting massive energy signatures from the Confederation fleet. They're charging weapons." Marcus wasn't surprised. The Confederation's leaders had grown too comfortable with their power, too certain of their superiority. They couldn't accept that their carefully maintained hierarchy was about to crumble. "Let them come," he said, watching as the quantum shield generators powered up to full capacity. "Everything they think they know about our capabilities is wrong. Every weakness they think they can exploit is a trap. Every advantage they think they have has already been countered." The facility's transformation was complete. What had appeared to be a primitive research station now bristled with weapons and defenses that the Confederation had never seen before. Similar revelations were happening across the solar system as humanity's hidden strength emerged from carefully maintained shadows. "All systems are go," Yuki reported. "The quantum shield network is online. Coverage extends from Mercury to the Kuiper Belt. No Confederation ship can enter our solar system without our permission now." Marcus looked at the faces around him, scientists and soldiers who had dedicated years of their lives to this moment. They had lived with the frustration of pretending to be less than they were, watching as the Confederation denied humanity its rightful place among the stars. That time was over. "Send word to all facilities," he ordered. "Project Prometheus is fully operational. Humanity is done hiding." Above Europa's icy surface, the first shots of a new era were about to be fired. The Confederation was about to learn that they hadn't been containing a primitive species. They had been provoking humanity into becoming something far more dangerous, an advanced civilization, with the determination and ingenuity of an underdog. The age of deception was ending. The time for revelation had come. Breaking chains. Fleet Commander Diana Paddle stood on the bridge of the EDS Prometheus, humanity's most advanced warship, watching as her fleet emerged from their hidden docks across the solar system. Ships rose from beneath Saturn's rings, materialized from the asteroid belt's shadows, and appeared from camouflaged stations in Jupiter's orbit. Each vessel represented years of secret development, combining stolen Confederation technology with human innovation. "All ships reporting ready, Commander," her XO, James Chen, announced. "The Confederation fleet is responding exactly as predicted. They're splitting their forces, trying to cover multiple vectors." Diana allowed herself a grim smile. The aliens' tactical doctrine hadn't evolved in centuries. They relied too heavily on technological superiority rather than strategic thinking. "Launch quantum buoys. Let's close their escape routes first." Across the solar system, hundreds of quantum field generators activated simultaneously, creating a vast web of interdiction fields. The Confederation ships, which had been preparing to retreat and regroup, suddenly found their faster-than-light drives inoperable. "Enemy fleet is signaling," James reported. "They're demanding our immediate surrender, claiming we're in violation of 17 different treaties." "Open a channel," Diana ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, showing Admiral Zextal of the Confederation Defense Force. The crystalline being's form pulsed with angry red light. "This is an act of war," Zextal's translated voice boomed. "Your primitive fleet cannot hope to stand against the combined might of the Confederation." Diana's response was calm and measured. "Admiral, I suggest you check your sensor readings again. What you're seeing isn't a primitive fleet. It's the most advanced armada ever assembled in this sector. While you were busy sabotaging our public research, we were learning from every mistake you forced us to make." The Prometheus's tactical display showed the full scope of humanity's deployment. Over 300 capital ships, each incorporating technology from multiple alien species, all modified and improved by human ingenuity. The Confederation fleet, despite its supposed superiority, was outnumbered and surrounded. "Impossible," Zextal sputtered. Our intelligence reports show your technology is centuries behind ours. Your intelligence saw what we wanted you to see, Diana replied. For generations, you taught us that we weren't worthy of standing among the stars as equals. Instead of breaking us, you forced us to become better than you ever imagined. The first shots came from a panicked Confederation captain. His cruiser launched a barrage of quantum torpedoes at a group of Earth ships. The human vessels didn't attempt to evade. Instead, their quantum shields, technology the Confederation thought impossible for humans to develop, absorbed the attack and redirected the energy back at the attacker. All ships, defensive pattern Delta, Diana commanded. Minimal force protocols are in effect. We're here to end their dominance, not start a massacre. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies for centuries to come. Human ships moved with unprecedented coordination, using tactics that the Confederation had never seen before. Their quantum shields proved impenetrable to conventional weapons, while their own advanced weaponry systematically disabled the alien vessels without destroying them. Enemy fleet is in disarray, James reported. Their command and control networks are compromised. Our cyber warfare teams have successfully penetrated their defense systems. Diana watched as the mighty Confederation fleet, which had terrorized dozens of species for centuries, found itself helpless against human ingenuity. Their rigid tactical doctrine fell apart in the face of humanity's adaptive strategy. Their advanced technology proved useless against systems specifically designed to counter it. "Commander," her tactical officer called out, "we're detecting power spikes from multiple Confederation vessels. They appear to be attempting to overload their cores." "Deploy containment fields," Diana ordered without hesitation. "They're not going to rob us of a victory by turning themselves into martyrs." The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the entire Confederation fleet had been captured or disabled, with minimal loss of life on either side. Diana had insisted on this approach. Humanity would prove itself not just more capable, but more compassionate than their former oppressors. "Signal from Earth Command," James announced. "Operation Dawn is proceeding across all sectors. Confederation forces are standing down throughout known space. It seems no one wanted to continue fighting after seeing what happened here." Diana nodded, looking at the holographic display showing disabled Confederation ships surrounded by Earth's advanced fleet. "Send word to all ships. Begin rescue and recovery operations. Show them the difference between their version of civilization and ours." As her crews began assisting their former enemies, Diana reflected on the irony of the situation. The Confederation had spent centuries trying to prevent humanity from advancing, claiming they weren't ready for full membership in galactic society. In doing so, they had created exactly what they feared, a human civilization that had surpassed them in every way that mattered. The chains of oppression had been broken, but the real work was just beginning. Humanity would need to prove that they deserved the power they had seized, that they could be better stewards of galactic civilization than their predecessors had been. The age of Confederation dominance was over. The challenge now would be building something better in its place. The art of deception. Intelligence Director Thomas Cordy sat in his office deep within Titan Base, surrounded by holographic displays showing real-time data from across the galaxy. The walls of screens depicted the unfolding chaos as the Confederation's carefully maintained power structure crumbled. Everything was proceeding exactly as planned. "Sir," his deputy director, Maya Wong, entered with a fresh data slate. "The psychological warfare campaign is exceeding all projections. 17 member species have already declared their independence from the Confederation. Their ruling councils are falling apart." Thomas leaned back in his chair, studying the cascade of defections spreading across the galactic map. "Amazing what happens when you show beings they've been lied to for centuries. How are our information packets being received?" The data proving the Confederation's systematic suppression of technological advancement across multiple species has gone viral on every information network, Maya replied. "Particularly effective are the records showing they didn't just target humans. They've been holding back dozens of civilizations. This had been the masterstroke of humanity's plan. While building their hidden strength, Earth's intelligence services had also gathered evidence of the Confederation's crimes against other species. The quantum data breach they'd engineered hadn't just stolen technical specifications, it had uncovered centuries of conspiracy. "Display the Arcturus sector," Thomas commanded. The holographic map zoomed in on a cluster of systems where several non-human civilizations had maintained secret research programs similar to Earth's. "Send the signal. It's time for Phase 3. Maya nodded and transmitted the encrypted quantum burst. Across the sector, hidden facilities belonging to other species began powering up. Earth hadn't just been preparing for its own liberation. They had been secretly sharing technology and intelligence with other oppressed civilizations. The Confederation never understood what they created, Thomas mused, watching as more systems declared their independence. They thought keeping species isolated would maintain their control. Instead, they created a network of potential allies, all with similar grievances. The displays showed the results of years of careful intelligence work. While the Confederation's attention had been focused on preventing humanity's advancement, Earth's agents had been building relationships with other subjugated species. Every act of sabotage against human technology had been carefully documented and shared, proving to others that they weren't alone in their struggle. "Update from the diplomatic corps," Maya reported. "The moderate faction within the Confederation Council is calling for an emergency session. They're proposing complete governmental reform." Thomas smiled. This too had been part of the plan. Not every member of the Confederation had supported the policy of technological suppression. Earth's intelligence services had identified potential allies within the power structure itself, cultivating relationships that would prove crucial in the aftermath of humanity's revelation. "Director," a junior analyst called out, "we're detecting unusual activity in the Cygnus arm. The Confederation's secret military research facilities are attempting to purge their databases." "Too late," Thomas replied calmly. "Execute Protocol Omega." Across known space, hidden quantum receivers activated. Years ago, humanity had discovered a fundamental flaw in the Confederation's quantum encryption. Instead of immediately exploiting it, they had patiently placed dormant access points throughout the Confederation's most secure networks. Now, as the alien bureaucrats tried to destroy evidence of their crimes, they discovered their systems no longer answered to their commands. "All facilities secured," Maya confirmed. "The data is being broadcast on all frequencies. Every species in known space can now see the full extent of the Confederation's deception." The holographic displays showed the final phase of humanity's master plan unfolding. It wasn't enough to simply break free from Confederation control. The entire system of oppression had to be exposed and dismantled. The carefully maintained myth of Confederation superiority was being replaced with proof of their systematic suppression of progress. "Incoming transmission from the Confederation Council," Maya announced. "They're requesting." "No. They're begging for negotiations." Thomas stood, walking to the window that overlooked Titan's methane seas. The base's quantum camouflage was deactivated now, revealing the true scope of humanity's hidden infrastructure. Similar revelations were happening across the galaxy as other species emerged from the shadows of Confederation control. "Tell them humanity will be happy to negotiate," he replied, "but not as supplicants begging for membership. We'll meet as equals, along with representatives from every species they've tried to suppress. It's time to build something new." The art of deception was giving way to the dawn of truth. Humanity had learned well from their oppressors, not just their technology, but their methods of control. The difference was that humans would use this knowledge to unite rather than divide, to lift up rather than suppress. The age of secrets was ending. The time for honest cooperation had begun. New Dawn. 1 year after Operation Dawn, the Great Hall of the new Galactic Assembly on Mars buzzed with activity. Representatives from over 50 species gathered in the crystalline chamber, their voices mixing in a harmony of different languages and translation devices. This wasn't just a meeting. It was the culmination of humanity's greatest gambit. Ambassador Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's representative to the Assembly, watched as High Chancellor Zixtal approached her position. The crystalline being's form had changed over the past year, adopting a more humble configuration that reflected the Confederation's diminished status. Ambassador, Zixtal's translated voice carried genuine respect now. The Transition Council has finished reviewing the last of the Confederation's restricted technology archives. The extent of our suppression, it was greater than even I knew. Sarah nodded, remembering the months of revelations that had followed humanity's uprising. The important thing is what we build now, Chancellor. The past is a teacher, not a prison. Across the chamber, Dr. Marcus Rivera was deep in discussion with a group of scientists from various species, their excitement visible as they shared previously forbidden knowledge. The quantum shields that had once been humanity's secret weapon were now being adapted to protect colonies across the galaxy from natural disasters. Fleet Commander Diana Pottle stood with a delegation of former Confederation military officers, reviewing plans for a joint defense force. The ships that had once faced each other in battle were now being integrated into a combined fleet dedicated to protecting all species equally. "The Assembly is ready to begin," announced Intelligence Director Thomas Corey, who had traded his shadows for a public role in shaping the new order. "Today we vote on the final articles of the Galactic Charter." The chamber quieted as representatives took their seats. The physical arrangement itself represented the change. Instead of the hierarchical tiers of the old Confederation Council, the Assembly was arranged in a circle, with all species on equal footing. 1 year ago, Sarah began her address. Humanity revealed its true capabilities to the galaxy. We didn't do this just to break free from Confederation control. We did it to prove that suppression and fear are poor foundations for civilization. The holographic displays activated, showing the progress made in the past year. Former Confederation research facilities had been converted into open universities where all species could study together. Trade routes once restricted by arbitrary regulations now flowed freely. Worlds that had been kept intentionally underdeveloped were beginning to flourish. The Confederation's greatest fear was that if they allowed species to advance freely, chaos would follow. Sarah continued, "They were wrong. When you trust people with knowledge and power, most will use it responsibly. When you treat others as equals, they rise to meet your expectations." Dr. Rivera's team had proven this by sharing advanced technology with formerly restricted species. Instead of the predicted disasters, these civilizations had quickly adapted and improved upon what they were given, contributing their own unique perspectives to galactic science. Commander Patel's joint fleet exercises had demonstrated that different species could work together effectively when given the chance. Tactical doctrines that had stagnated under Confederation control were being revolutionized by the introduction of new ideas and approaches. "The charter before us today isn't perfect," Sarah acknowledged, "but unlike the Confederation's rules, it's designed to grow and evolve. It establishes principles rather than restrictions, cooperation instead of control." The voting began, with each species representative registering their choice. Even former Confederation hardliners had come to support the new system, having seen how cooperation and open exchange benefited everyone. As the final votes were tallied, Thomas Corey reflected on the irony of it all. The Confederation had spent centuries trying to prevent exactly this scenario. Multiple species advancing rapidly, sharing technology freely, exercising power independently. They had never understood that their oppression was creating exactly what they feared most. "The vote is concluded," announced the Assembly's eye. "The charter has been ratified unanimously." Cheers erupted throughout the chamber. Species that had once been bitter enemies embraced as equals. Scientists who had worked in secret for generations openly shared their discoveries. Military officers who had faced each other in battle now planned joint peacekeeping missions. Sarah watched it all from her podium, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. Humanity had done more than just break free from their chains. They had helped forge a new way forward for all species. The deception and hidden preparation had been necessary, but they were means to an end, not the end itself. "The Assembly is officially in session," she declared. Let the new era begin. As the various representatives began their first official meeting, Sarah thought about the long journey that had brought them here. Humanity had proven itself not just through technological advancement or military might, but through their vision of what civilization could be. The age of suppression was over. The time of true cooperation had begun. And somewhere in the vast chamber, a young human diplomat was already dreaming of what they might achieve next, now that all species were finally free to reach for the stars together.